Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to day 5 of our Disney Princess Week.
Today we're looking at the 2013 global phenomenon, Frozen.
After the kingdom of Arendelle is cast into eternal winter by the powerful Snow Queen Elsa, her sprightly sister Anna teams up with a rough mountaineer named Kristoff and his trusty reindeer Sven to break the icy spell.
Sven? Is it rough? And like, wait a minute, you're too descriptive, Disney. You're like, is this close? Is this accurate? Hello? Yes, remember when this first came out, it was everywhere. It was like the world went frozen mad.
Being talked about by everyone. And before we start anything else, we have to say that this movie cost $150 million to make and grossed over $1.2 billion with a B dollars at the box office. And if I'm not mistaken, it's their most successful animated theatrical movie to date.
Yes. Cause you remember everyone would stop talking about it. That was the #1 movie in the world. They were doing Broadway plays, on ice plays, doing mashups, reviews, tributes. It was, and everyone was singing, "Let it go, let it go,
yes.
Shut up." And then eventually it finally died down after a while. Then no one wanted to hear "Let It Go" anymore because you let the song go.
But it was just one of the greatest, most memorable movies that have been out there for Disney.
Yeah.
And I know Disney is probably trying to calculate its next Frozen type movie because they've never had anything happen like this in all the years it's been a company.
Yes.
And 2013, and now it's 2019, and finally the Frozen hysteria died down. It took years for this movie to get out of the spotlight. About 2 years before it finally began to die down and fade away so that other movies could move up in the spotlight. It was just that influential and that powerful an influence on pop culture.
Yes, and like I said, the song was everywhere. You have tons and tons of merchandise, cosplay, interviews. The song was like #1 on the charts for the longest time. And there were people that just loved this movie, absolutely loved it. And we finally heard all this fuss. It was like, okay, we finally got to see it, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, it definitely was. And we saw a couple of copycat movies. Well, actually, we shouldn't say that. We saw one of the original movies the story was based off of.
Yes, the Snow Queen.
Country.
And technically, only thing they could copy was, I guess, Frozen's storyline. But the original story is public domain.
Right.
They tried to do it was a mockbuster where they did try to capitalize off of Frozen by doing the movie, and Disney tried to put a lawsuit on them. But it actually was a different story from Frozen. But since it came out at the same time as Frozen, they thought they were tried to sue them because they were trying to get the competition for their movie.
Right. So you had Kristen Bell, who I am familiar with from the original Hero series that aired on NBC, as Anna. And then the singer of this Frozen song, "Let It Go."
Idina Menzel, that her name? Yeah. As Elsa. And then Jonathan Groff as Kristoff.
Alan Tudyk
as the Duke of Weaselton. It's Wuzzleton!
Mars LaMarche.
As the King of Arendelle with a short role. And Jennifer Lee as Queen of Arendelle, also a short role. Because this was the movie that started to go back to the formula, but then decided after the prologue to make fun of itself. It's like, no, we're not going to do all those stupid tropes we've been doing in the other movies. Except for killing off the parents. We're still going to keep that in. But they start to... Oh, before we get to that, let's finish up here.
And Josh Gad was great as Olaf.
Yes. And Santino Fontana was Hans. And then, other couple characters in here, like Chris Williams as Oaken, who became actually a very prominent character in certain communities. Because many people do not know the purpose of his role besides a little bit of comic relief and being the only sauna in the entire kingdom. And he's the only one probably in business at the time.
So this definitely is a movie that not only was history making, but that will be in history for many, many decades to come. And it will be probably what a lot of other studios use as their barometer.
Yeah.
Is this movie like Frozen? Will we have a Frozen-like response?
Yeah.
Will we have Frozen-like longevity? Will we have Frozen-like soundtracks?
Yes.
And this is what they probably gauge as what they aspire to now, to have as the reaction for an animated theatrical movie.
Exactly. And we were getting to the movie attempts to kind of make fun of itself because they do the same tropes over and over and over again. They keep that part with the parents, of course, but they kind of make fun of where the two main characters get married after a few days of knowing each other. And here, Anna thinks she wants to marry Hans after like 15 minutes in a song.
Right.
And also say, you can't marry someone you just met in an evening. I'm like, yeah, you just know his name. You don't know anything else about him.
Right.
And it's kind of a good thing she didn't, because you find out later he was kind of a real Prince Charming from Shrek.
Right.
Which became another Disney trope. But continuing on, they also have where there's no princess needs to be rescued. There's no funny animal sidekick. You have a funny snowman sidekick this time. And so you don't need to express everything through a song. You know that, but they do it anyway. So yeah, it kind of makes fun of its own little tropes they got, but it still tells its own story anyway.
And the dichotomy of the sisters was a big part of what made it work. They had two different personalities, two different ideas of what was freedom for them. And the interesting part was it started off telling their story as girls when they were really supportive of each other and loved each other, and it wasn't that way. And then one incident caused them to drift apart.
Right. And it was actually like very, very different. Almost reminded you of something which they actually kind of made fun of, and someone made a parody, like something that would be happening in the X-Men franchise. And yeah, Elsa clearly is more standoffish, and like what does it say, conceal, don't feel, because her powers are triggered by emotion, like Raven from Teen Titans. And she couldn't really feel that much excitement or anything, because anything that was too powerful could trigger the ice powers to go, and she could hurt Anna again unintentionally. And Anna does not remember that she had powers, so she thinks that she closing herself off. Why is she doing this for 18 years? She's been doing this and never explanation, which kind of makes a point. It's like, you didn't talk to each other for 18 years. How did that even work?
Yeah.
How did that work without someone questioning, someone saying, where is the queen? How are you running the kingdom and you don't even leave the house?
But again, it made the movie work. And now, as we know, we're getting Frozen 2.
Yeah,
and we've already seen the trailer the other day.
Yes, which felt more like Avengers Endgame, because Disney started to do a lot more darker teasers. Once you get to the rest of the movie, it'll probably be more lighthearted, but it seems like going for a whole different feel. It was like really family and fun-loving and adventure, but this one seems a little more dark, with somewhere we don't know where Elsa is at the time when they had the teaser. Like, is she like on an island or something? And then they have where the climate changing, there's fire and stuff. It's clearly autumn because it was supposed to be summer and it turned to winter because of Elsa. So now it's in fall. So like maybe it's supposed to be about climate change. We don't know what the story is going to be this time, who will center on. And this has to be mentioned. A lot of people were very supportive of Elsa coming out in Frozen 2. We don't know if they're going to do that or not, but there have been a lot of support, even from the voice actress, of her coming out, because not in the first movie there wasn't seem to be anybody interested in Elsa, or vice versa. So many people believe that she is will have that story in a sequel, and we'll see if they do it. Because apparently people thought there was going to be something like that in the first one, and you had one, but that was it. Was the sauna owner, the Oaken, and that was it. But yeah, we'll have to see what they'll do and how they'll impact Disney and the communities when this happens.
And we also have read that there are going to be some possibly new characters. Well, actually, we know there'll be new characters.
Yeah, you have to.
And it's possibly going to be Sterling K. Brown from This Is Us. Yay! Evan Rachel Wood are also being rumored to be part of the sequel. And then, of course, some of the people are returning. Kristen Bell, Idina Menzel,
and Josh Gad
that reprise their roles. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what Disney does to make this a fresh, new movie with a different art, a different story, and characters that people have grown to love.
Yes.
And I actually can't wait to see what this movie is going to be about.
Right. And the only flaw I had was Olaf's Frozen Adventure, which they should not have never put in front of Coco, because I should have just aired on TV and leave it be.
But to sum it up, Frozen was a history-making movie, loved by hundreds of millions of people around the world. Different story, great messages, well-loved characters. Sequel coming out, yay! We didn't have to wait 10 years for a sequel.
Right.
And we know you've seen it, so tell us what makes it one of your favorite movies of all time in the comments below, because we've heard and read from so many people around the world that this is their favorite movie. If it's yours, tell us why in the comments below.
Yes, and tune in tomorrow for our final day of our Disney Princess Week podcast. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Aska Entertainment.
I'm on Entertainment.
Have a toontastic peace.
Peace and let it go. Let it go.
I wish I could let that song go.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man. Who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Met her in my dreams. She was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket. Give it to you later on in the form of a locket.